Welcome. I am happy to be here and share something with you today. I'm going to be sharing with you this little this little visual image that I created to go into my Creative Reminders journal. What is a Creative Reminders journal? Creative Reminders is a process that I developed years ago, and it's basically to help create wellness in our emotional state in our mind. Our mind governs how we feel, our emotional state. It governs how much we eat. It governs our attitude. It governs everything in our life. And so the creative reminders is basically using our creativity to be able to create something that we can recite over and look at and help to improve how we're thinking, feeling, what's going on in our life. So if you're struggling with right now, I love this because we're all working on goals right now, right? We all have set goals. Well, I'm not calling mine goals. I'm calling mine lifestyle changes, lifestyle goals, lifestyle, just being able to make some changes in my life that are going to improve from today forward. And I want to put that out there to you. If you are a creative person and you love to create, but you find that it's hard for you to schedule in the time or make the time because of other things going on, or just you're not in the mental state sometimes to do it, which we all know what that is like, to change that. Make time for your creative self. Make time for your art, because it will help, believe it or not, your wellness and how you feel and what goes on each day for you. Now, I've chosen a creative reminder to go with this, and that's what stirred up this little image. And I'm going to read it to you. I'll be going over it in the class I'm sharing with you, but it's I release the habit of holding myself back. I am ready and willing to take swift action toward my goals. I show up with intention and confidence every day, moving forward with purpose and clarity. I chose this one because basically there's times when I have this great idea, or I've got some ideas, but I tend to not jump right in and do them. I procrastinate on what I'm doing. And so I want to stop that procrastination and really follow through with some things. Welcome to those that are here. Go ahead and say hello in our comments, and let me know where you're from, because I always love to see where everybody is coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and start this class. If you've got some watercolor paper and your watercolors close by, you could use anything, colored pencils, anything you want. But I used watercolor with this, and it's on a little 4x6 watercolor paper. Let me go ahead and change this down now, and you can follow along as I am sharing with you how to create this visual. This little 4x6 is a leftover from something I was going to create about 3 weeks ago. So I put a little bit of gesso over it. You can still see the lines, but I want to just take this and use it as I'm thinking about a visual for the creative reminder that I came up with. Let me find it for a brief second. Sometimes I'll get these great ideas, but then I tend to start forward with it, but procrastination steps in, or something else stops me from getting it actually accomplished. And so the creative reminder says this: I release the habit of holding myself back. I am ready and willing to take swift action toward my goals. Procrastination no longer controls me. I show up with intention and confidence every day, moving forward with purpose and clarity. And of course, I've got some journaling questions that I go along with this, but this was the intent. I release the habit of holding myself back. I'm ready and willing to take swift action toward my goal. And that is actually a great one to have right now with this time of the year and all of the goals in that have been set. So what I will do is, let's start on the background, and I'm just going to play. This is where we're I'm going to grab a big brush here. And I already have gesso on here, so usually watercolor doesn't work so well with when you're using, when you already have gesso on. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to wet this down. And that's what happens is it will re-wet the surface and then get that into your paint. So I want to be careful and not mix that. So let's put that in and be very gentle. And I'm just using the greens and that I have right here left over on my palette. I don't see my spray gun, so I'll use my brush right here to grab some of this olive. I'm just going to see what happens. To tell you the truth, I'm not even sure what will happen with this. We're going to play, and I'm going to grab this blue here and mix it in with the green. And I believe that this for me is probably the hardest part of the process, because you're starting out unsure of what it is you're actually creating, unless you've got an image or something that you found and you know. But just to start in and to put something down is not an easy task for me. What about you? Do you find it easy to we're always talking about just let loose, just play, and some days are easier to do that than others. Wouldn't you say? I think so myself. Okay, I see a lot of texture there from the paper and the gesso. So I'm going to dry this. All right, you saw I flipped that over because as I was looking at that, I really love what was happening here. And I thought about that as being, well, it could be down that direction and turn that into some flowers in that. Let's add, I'm going to pull this out and use my acrylic pencils. I'm gonna wet that. Those lines, can you see the lines I'm creating with that? Could be almost like hills or something in the background. Pull some of that up. I want to keep that lighter green right there. And I can see just this kind of little mountain range going on back in here. Let's dry that. You know, I was procrastinating on getting going with this, but once you get going, that's the hardest part. It's just getting it going. Let me use this as a sketching pencil. And I see right here where the colors have gone. I see a mountain range right here. And then something else over here. I'm just going to use this pencil. Kind of sketch that out a little bit. Shadow, create that horizon line right there. And I'm seeing down here, this to me is like some flowers. So if we were to come in, I'm going to give I think it's dry enough to be able to put a marker over it. Let's see what markers I have. Well, I'm going to draw it first so you can see what I'm doing. Let me use a regular pencil. And this right here can be, I'm going to use these blues. Draw these lines. This needs to go smaller. We go back further. So if you're holding yourself back, you know, and you haven't picked up your, okay, this could be one of those tall, not even sure what those plants look like, but I can see these like little, just because of the texture in the paper. So I'm going to utilize that. Create. Like that. And here's more, so we'll you know, it's sometimes when you come off of a holiday, at least for me, or you're, you know, you've been busy, or there's 1,000 reasons. Oh, the weather. And really, all this is a little bit of self-care for yourself. But it can be such a struggle to get this going. And we procrastinate. Hey Sandy, thanks for showing up. Just throwing out some little leaves here. Don't even know if these are the type of leaves that are on these, but let's draw some lines across here. Now remember, this was that watercolor paper that I'd already put an image on. And look how simple and easy and fun. Just doodling. Just doodle here. I'm going to put some down here too, because I don't want these to look like they're floating. Okay. It's nice to do with these, to come back and put a little white on the ends. Whoops. And that's it. I love it. That is my visual. Let me see if I can find that statement one more time. My visual for, I released the habit of holding, and I'll put that on the back of this. Let's see. Give it a quick dry and maybe turn around and write that on it. tape. And I like the bleed through. It did bleed through, and I actually love it for this particular one. Great. Let me see right here for a second. Get that up there close. Now, was that simple or what? You can't get... That was very simple. All right, after I went back, I'm sitting here looking at it, and this was very pale, which was pretty, but I felt like I wanted a little more emphasis, so I'm coming back in with a little more color. I added more blue to that. Now, where does your eye go? It goes right down there. So I'm added a little purple there to kind of balance out, and I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to grab some of this green. And I want to pull your eye back up a little bit. So this is the charcoal or the pencil that I've got here. And I'm going to grab that. Oh, that's purple. We don't want that. Want the blue and the green. And I'm leaning more towards more blue, if you can see that in the, a little more blue. And I am going to come in here and just add a little bit. To darken this up and bring your eye up towards the top. Of course, that needs to dry a little. Remove this. And if I would like it darker, let's see about my pencils. If I've got a blue-green, I have this one right here. And I'm just intensifying a little bit. So that it's a little, so it bounces it out, because I want the eye to see the whole thing, but I'm just hitting certain, like, small areas. I'm not covering the whole thing. I'm just hitting small areas. Yes. I'm going to hit a little small here because I've already got the turquoise. I don't want to add any more to what's there. There we go. I'll go over this dark kind of. Made it into a yucky brown. Let's go back over with some of this. Kind of lift that, maybe change that. This is the yellow green. There. Ooh, that's great. I'm loving it again. So, you know, if you try something, like I did something, and then you do something else and you're like, nothing's ever ruined. Just work with a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is pull this down here. Go along my little lines that I've got. So you can see, you can make these projects last as long. It could be as quick as what I did before. You put down a background, you put on, just have yourself some wildflowers. Put those on, and away you go. Or you can come back if you want to spend a little more time and play with the colors, like I'm doing now. So it's really up to you. Art can take, you know, it's not something that what I'm trying to say is no longer can we use the excuse of it takes too much time. I'll do that later. I don't have time. Just have yourself a few supplies. I think we get overwhelmed with all of our supplies. And have those. Let's see, I'm intensifying the whole thing. I might as well intensify this a little bit. I don't really I have to sharpen that. See if I've got another one that's more of a lavender color. Oopsie. It's just transforming, and also you can do one phase of it and then you know, go back to the next day. Play a little more with it. There we go. So I love that. It's beautiful, fun to make. All right, I released the habit of holding myself back. So if you're struggling getting your art out, you might write this down. This is number 202 in the Creative Reminders. Or release the habit of holding myself back. I am ready and willing to take swift action. Toward my goals. And And then the rest of this, procrastination no longer controls me. I show up with intention and confidence every day, moving forward with purpose and clarity. I'm going to leave out part of that. I'm going to shorten it. I show up with intention and confidence every day. Intention and confidence every day. I think that's important. Every day. I'm going to underline that. Moving forward with purpose and clarity. With purpose and clarity. There we go. Got that written out. Give it a second to kind of dry. When you feel like it's dry, which I hope it is, it's pretty quick drying, I'm going to erase the lines that were my guidelines. All right, I'm Kathy Freeman with Kathy Freeman Art, kathyfreemanart.com. Check out my website and also pay attention to, if you like these and you're interested in what these are that I'm doing, I am opening a Creative Reminders community. I've actually got a 4-day free event coming up this month, so be watching your emails for that. You can get on my email list at kathyfreemanart.com and receive the notifications. Have a great day. All right, thanks for watching that. Let's recap what we've got here. And thank you for showing up. I can see your names and that, and it's good to have you. So recap is basically what I loved about this particular project, and it was very quick and fast, is the fact that I just started laying down paint. And once it was so hard, though, for me to start doing this, I was just putting it off all day long. And that's why I chose that particular Creative Reminders, because I kept thinking, okay, we've got to get this, move forward with this, and stop procrastinating on it. And what I loved about it is once the paint was laid down, then I just simply went back. And as I looked at it, I loved the way that the lines were creating by themselves as that paint was drying, and I could start to see things. You would probably see something totally different, which is what makes art so amazingly wonderful, is to be able to see the differences of what our eye sees, what we pick up, what we, how we interpret it. And so I'm just here. I want to encourage you to pull out a little watercolor paper, get out your watercolors. And if you're struggling like me to just get going, just get some paint down. Once you start getting that paint flowing, then you'll start to see things unfold. All right. Thank you so much. And Sandy, thank you for being here. And thank you, Jolinda and Joe. And I'm so glad that we had visitors here with us today. Have a wonderful week. Stay warm if you're in some very cold areas. And I will catch you again. Talk to you later.